Welcome to the DO Boxing Show. I'm your host, Dameon Okposio, and thanks for tuning into this episode. Today we're at the Bowen Medical Group, and they do concussion testing for Hamilton and the surrounding area. We're going to be talking to people that have been affected by concussions, and you're going to learn about the symptoms and what to look for.
My name is Stephanie, and I've been dealing with post-concussion syndrome now for 6 years, and this is from 2 different incidents, and neither of them were boxing, but I can assure you that concussions are serious and long-lasting. My first concussion was a bicycle accident, so I was racing my road bike, and basically, let's just say I fell. And I went to the hospital, and even though concussions really become a buzzword in the last couple of years, there's really just not a lot of education about it, and even the people at the hospital let me go without really giving me a good understanding of what I might be going through. And after the bruises on my face healed and the stitches came out of my head and the cast was gone, I was left with feeling like I just wasn't me. And I continued to go to my family doctor, who just told me I was fine. I was working because you have to work, you have to live, and you want to do the things that you love, and I just tried to keep doing those things. But I just wasn't myself. I was very irritable. I was having extreme mood swings. I had headaches all of the time. I was just so tired. And generally kind of walking around in a fog, a brain fog. And the way to describe that to someone who's never really been through it is just if you ever wake up from that hangover, that worst hangover, and you kind of have that, oh my God, what even happened last night feeling? Except try walking around like that 24 hours a day. And I just pushed through things. I'm a tough person, like all of you boxers out there. And I just kept thinking, tomorrow I'll wake up and it'll be gone. Tomorrow I'll wake up and it'll be gone. I was also having times where I wouldn't really remember things that I should remember, like getting lost driving to my house from work, just general places I would know how to go. Even following a list in the grocery store became really difficult, and I didn't know why. After about 2 years, I got referred to an acquired brain injury program where they deal with people who have concussion on an outpatient basis. So they could give you the strategies to be able to deal with your life. And that was when my second incident happened. So like I said, it's been 6 years, and I still have to pace and plan my days based on my cognitive function. So something that's really difficult for your brain to do, you might not even understand, is going into a store like Walmart or Costco. Marketers are very smart. They have amazing abilities to put colors and words together to grab your brain's attention. And then there's lights and there's people, and you have to think about what you want to buy and see all of the numbers. And your brain's doing all of this stuff without you even realizing. It's such an amazing organ. And then all of the symptoms that you get, what you would really notice if you're going through a concussion is that all of a sudden you just feel really anxious and agitated, and you don't know why. And you kind of feel like, I just got to get out of here. And especially in the early years, a number of times I would just leave a store like that.
So would you say that it comes over like anxiety?
Anxiety is a huge component of concussion, and people who maybe don't know if they have a concussion, if you're feeling like you're getting anxiety out of nowhere, that's a huge sign, and start to talk to people who know about concussion medical experts. I had an anxiety attack 4 days after my bike accident, and I'd never had any kind of anxiety. Now, the reason that happens is, I'm sure Christina can tell you a little bit more about it. The medical professionals will be able to describe it better than I would. But your body doesn't know where it is in space. Your proprioception is off, and boxers know how important it is to understand where their body is at all times. And your brains are better at it than the normal population, but it still takes a lot of effort. So the reaction of the body is to go into an anxious mode. It's trying to understand where it is all the time.
And when these different symptoms came up, what did you attribute it to at the time? Like, what did you think it was?
I literally thought I was just losing my mind, basically. I didn't understand that it was a concussion, especially because I had a doctor at an ER just send me home and tell me to look at a website. I had a family doctor telling me that I should just go talk to a therapist. And so I really didn't link it back. I didn't understand that your brain does all the things you need to do, and it doesn't get any time off. While you're sleeping, your brain has to make sure that you stay breathing. So there's no time for it to rest. If you twist your ankle, you can stay off your ankle for a while. You can give it time to rest. Your brain doesn't get that same luxury.
So what was the method of detection when you finally knew or could define what it was?
So that's the other difficult thing about concussion, is that you can't go and get an MRI or a CT scan and see it, because the injury happens on a cellular level. So the detection is very much done in a way of, physiotherapists are a great line of defense for this, because they can do different physical tests to be able to tell if you have concussion or not. There's different things with the eyes. Sometimes, depending how you're hit, your eyes don't track correctly. So someone trained in detecting that would put you through a physical series of testing, and that would be a really good way to tell.
And what about the road to recovery? How does that start?
Well, it's a long one, and especially if you don't take the break right away. And so for someone who has had concussion, multiple concussion, repetitive head syndrome, they need to get resting as soon as possible, getting the brain doing nothing. And that is boring, and nobody ever wants to do that. But you're going to need your brain long after you take the boxing gloves off. So that is really important. As soon as you decide or understand that this is something that you need to do, start to rest. And make those rest periods long, and get off the computer, get off the TV, get off your phone. And then as you start to rest your brain, your ability to think and use it and do all of those really technical things that your brain needs to do will get greater. But it can take a really, really long time, because like I said, you need your brain all the time. You need it 24 hours a day.
So resting it doesn't mean removing kind of all sensory things like radio or...
Radio's really good. It's a great friend for someone who's in the early days of concussion, or maybe you could put this great YouTube show on and just make sure that you turn the screen down.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But audiobooks are really great, doing puzzles, things like that. But definitely get out of fluorescent lights, any kind of lighting that is really troublesome for the brain. And as soon as you start to understand these symptoms, you'll know what bothers you. Busy parties, busy places, lots of conversation. If you're sitting in a restaurant, your brain's going to be trying to pick up all the conversations around you. The filtering system's off, so you can't focus on the person in front of you that you're talking to. So less people, less excitement, less noise, less activity, and the better your brain will be in the long run.
Okay, and so just one final thing to leave people with. It seems like it's going to come down to something that they're going to have to get educated about. And where does that education start for someone that's just like looking or curious about concussions?
Well, it is difficult to find the education because there's a general lack of awareness, and I wouldn't want to accuse anyone of trying to not be aware of it, but of course we want to keep doing our sports and we want to keep doing the things that we love. But the most important thing is this brain, because you're going to need it for the rest of your life. I can guarantee you that. So there are lots of different websites, and a concussion is a brain injury. Let's not mince words about this. You're injuring your brain. So looking up things like mild traumatic brain injury, which is what I'm diagnosed with, what I have, what I may deal with for the rest of my life, and I'm have to come to terms with that. That took a long time to really understand. And a lot of people that are in sports where concussions are very prevalent are going to end up in the same boat as me. So just looking up things on acquired brain injury, mild traumatic brain injury, and concussion can help people understand more about what the symptoms are, and hopefully find great experts like the ones here at the Bowen Medical Group to be able to help them through the recovery and to come out the other side.
Thank you so much for explaining to our audience. Really appreciate the time that you took out to do that.
Well, thanks for coming.
So thanks to Stephanie for giving us that information, which is really important. It's one of those things that I definitely don't know too much about, so I'm learning just as you guys are. Remember, you can ask us any questions related to boxing by sending us a message through Twitter at DOKPOSIO or through email at okposio@hotmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our show by going to YouTube and going to Dameon Okposio to get every episode of the DO Boxing Show. Thanks for tuning into this episode, and we'll catch you on the next one.